Good evening and welcome to GC Foster College in Angel Spanish Town. It's a special occasion, the launch of two big projects, 50 Days Afire by me and Michael Grant, and a video, Finding Foster, on Michael's search for information on the great man himself. As you can see here in reception at GC Foster, it's buzzing with activity. One of our honorees tonight, Dion Hemmings, is actually here, and the people who love sport, who love track and field, are gathered together nearby to us. So Dane McPherson, he's part of the video as sort of the image of young GC Foster. The program tonight includes unveiling of a portrait of 22-year-old GC Foster, the sprinter, about the time when he went to England to try to make the Olympic team for the London Games in 1908. It's going to be a nice evening filled with excitement, the unveiling of the book, the portrait, honor to Dion Hemmings, and some readings from the new book, 50 Days of Fire. Gonna be fun tonight. You are welcome, as usual.
We are at GC Foster College. It's now the beautiful GC Foster College. And I have with me Mr. Gibbs Williams, Vice Principal of GC Foster College. A lot of people know Gibbs Williams for sports in general, but certainly cricket is one sport that he's well known for. But today you're here in the capacity of Vice Principal of GC Foster College. Tell me about this event that's going to be held here, or it has started already, but more to come in a little while.
Well, we were asked to partner with Kingston Communications in the book launch of GC Foster College, 50 Days of Fire, also a documentary, The Search for Jamaica's Next GC Foster. And so where else to have this launch than at the Mecca of Sports, GC Foster College, an institution that has been named after the great man himself. And so we feel obliged to be in partnership for this event, and I'm sure that Jamaica will welcome this, and it will be a tremendous success.
The college is well named after GC Foster College, but how much do the students know about the awesome work that this man has done himself, an athlete, before it was named after him?
You know, interestingly, GC Foster was one of the very first coaches who would have incorporated massage in his fitness programs, and so we now have a full-fledged running massage program here, all started by GC Foster College. And so every opportunity that we get at this institution to teach about GC Foster, we certainly inculcate that in our curriculum, and so our students are well informed about the man himself.
It's good to know, but let's look at the event itself. What's going to happen here? There's a book, 50 Days of Fire, the 50 most exciting track and field days. Well, it's performances, so let's clarify. We will hear about performances rather than 50 athletes.
Right.
And certainly the book, Finding GC Foster College, because I understand some real interesting information has been unearthed about him.
Right.
But let's look at the book. What do you know about that part?
Not much right now, but I'm eager to learn. I know that it's, as you said before, it's about 50 Days of Fire. The documentary is what I'm really interested in seeing, because what it does, it tells us a little bit about the life of the man himself and the struggles that he has been through, and so we're excited to see where it goes.
And we'll keep the excitement going as we see further what happens here this afternoon.
Thanks much.
Thank you, Gibbs. am in the company of royalty. This event, this college is named GC Foster College, and we are so happy, so pleased to have with us in the flesh family of GC Foster College, his granddaughters, 3 beautiful granddaughters. I am not even going to tell you their names. I'll have them tell you their names and introduce themselves because it is such a pleasure to have them with us. Starting with
Debbie Jardine. I'm Heather Chin. Andrea Roberts.
3 beautiful granddaughters. And can you tell me something about GC Foster College?
I know that it is a beautiful campus, and we don't come out here very often, but when we do, we're just so impressed with how it looks.
And tell me something about your grandfather that we couldn't know.
Oh Lord, help me with that one.
Okay, he was very humorous. I remember as a maybe 9-year-old him having funny ways of pronouncing things. So, for instance, from Mexico, it would be Mexico, but he was full of jokes, and till he died at 80, but he was riding his bicycle up to the end. As children, even then we knew that was pretty incredible.
Now we're gonna have a documentary on his life as an athlete. How do you feel about that, and are you looking forward to seeing that documentary?
Oh yes, we'd love to see it. We know he was a wonderful athlete and he passed on a lot of information, and as Heather said, he's very, very humorous, gave us a lot of jokes, was always interested in every part of us, the schoolwork, swimming, athletes. I think he used to jump over me as a child.
Really?
Yes.
So you must be very pleased about what's happening here.
Very much so. We're actually very honored to be here. And I don't live here, and coincidentally, I just happen to be here now, so I was just very excited to be a part of this.
We're quite emotional about it. It's quite a thrill for us.
You must know that we're all really, really very happy to see GC Foster in the flesh through you.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. We feel like royalty here.
Yes, we're being treated like royalty, so thank you. But we are very impressed.
And we hope that you stay the whole evening, that you see the documentary yourself, and have a great time.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. I will be coming back to you to talk to you some more.
Michael A. Grant. He tells me that he graduated from Yale. I didn't have time to do the research, but I'm going to trust my notes. So let us welcome Michael. Anybody here ever been to the Olympics? Just attended, not competed. You been? Anybody? Well, of course, Gary. You know. But anybody ever? Now, for you folks at GC Foster who don't, despite what the name may say, this is actually Mr. Gibbs Williams, who is the VP in charge of our cricket coach. If there is any grandbabies, any TT, we're doing anything out of track and field? Badminton, anything? Vishu, good to see you. Welcome.
Chairman of GC.
And chairman of GC Foster, of course. I am seeing other TT people. Salute, greetings. And Gary, how many people from your team are here from Supreme Ventures?
Actually, Enibet sponsor.
Well, Enibet will be recognizing you shortly. And
Don Marks.
Don Smith, the general manager. Welcome, Don. To the stage. But instead, an able representative, we're going to ask Mr. Gibbs Williams to come forward and give greetings. Please welcome him.
Thank you very much, Mr. Master of Ceremonies. My Principal Maurice, but certainly it's the first time that I've been told that I am not as handsome, and I will convey the message. Hatch is also the president of Pan American Badminton Confederation, Mr. Dan Smith, and might I add Ms. Chantel Nash of Enibet Limited, along with Mr. Gary Peart, Mr. Andrew Liu, President Jamaica Tennis Association, Jamaica Table Tennis Association, Mrs. Ian McCarthy Hemmings, Olympian. The grandchildren, you know, somebody whispered to me, gosh, GC Foster was a handsome man. And I said, wait until you see the grandchildren. Mr. Master of Ceremonies, pray to the GC Foster family. Other invited guests, I see in the audience, past Vice Principal, Mr. Maurice West. Allow me also, ladies and gentlemen, to recognize Ms. Hope O'Connor, one of the mentors that I've worked with over the years, and a lady who has paved the occasion when indeed we create history in launching 50 Days Afire inside Jamaica's long sprint to freedom. The book and the documentary, Finding Foster, the search for Jamaica's lost in the training of physical education teachers, sports personnel, and recreational professionals in St. Catherine, headed by Miss Michelle Lewis, to the period when GC Foster started, and I recognize him already, but we're going to do it again, Mr. Maurice Westney. As we assemble here this evening for introspection on our performance and achievements over the past 42 years as an institution, Gerald Claude Eugene Foster will always remain our benchmark, as he demonstrated greatness throughout his life as an athlete and coach, the type we hope our students become here in Jamaica. I will give credit to excerpts of this presentation with information taken from lost Diana Shaw, and our memories will forever be with us here at GC Foster. The institution has produced numerous school administrators who have served with distinction on the educational landscape, coupled with the 80% of schools that participate in. You may ask, how does this tie into?
So as I was introduced, my name is Don Smith. I'm the general manager of Post to Post Betting Limited, but in the public we trade as Enibet. We're a subsidiary of the Supreme Ventures Group since 2009. Operations Manager, just stand as I introduce. Miss Maxine Watkins, Assistant Producer our team. We have Mrs. Assistant Operations Manager, and we have Mrs. Denise Black-Gillies, Accounts Receivable Supervisor. No hesitation in partnering with Keystone Communication, because I believe it is our duty and our responsibility to solidify and concretize our rich track and field history. Congratulations to Mr. Grant's team on the good work that you have done. Continue.
He speaks, the action happens right away. I'd like somebody to come forward and tell me where Hubert Lawrence went to high school. I kind of need to give you the prize here, though, you know. Yeah, you can have that. Gary, she can win twice. I don't like to watch movies twice. I can't read a book more than once. And if I know the answer, and I just open the book in the middle. I can't say I know all of this already. And I stumble on one of the stories.
Thank you. This is page 6. Takes us back to 1991, where Jamaica's women, and we're tuning into the brain of Merlinot. I knew if I was close enough to the Germans here, disappointment, give myself extra credit for that, because I had myself up to run again.
As I'm comfortable at the I have to take Mr. James to task about calling my degrees into question. Not an I'll pen. So we have to make sure that those things are facts. The chapter called Fast, Vulnerable 17. This is a chapter on Marilyn Newfield, those almost forgotten heroes of Jamaica, have set workers. Decided to run for Jamaica. She was born here, but because she decided she would no longer represent Great Britain and represent Jamaica, she did this not to be left out of the standoff with the athletes. There was vitriol among international athletics officials as well. Helsinki hero Herb McKinley, now a Jamaica team chief, said, "We have decided we must look into the whole matter seriously, possibility of any misunderstanding." He went on to explain that British Athletic Secretary Gold had been rude in his demand that Marilyn return to London for the East. Herb said, clearly offended. I said he should not blackmail me. And some of this abuse has been directed against me occasionally at the Olympics in Munich next year, and so I have come home. She also insisted on dispelling they think I owe them something. They think I owe them something. But I owe them nothing. It was I who ran.
Thank you. G.E. Foster go to high school. Thank you. What is Dion Hemmings? Well, you're Dion Hemmings when you set it. Go and sit down, all of you. 100-meter hurdles. All right, I guess. Was it Olympic record at the time too?
Yes.
No, then proud.
You see, ladies and gentlemen, she was my favorite female athlete. 52.82.
Congratulations. Just on the finish line, which is just when you passed Kim. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but Kim, you know, they ran 11 something. You know, we kind of say you ran 11.39, which was the wind aid at the time, so that doesn't count. Well, Google works. Congratulations. All right, Dion, I'm going to try to make this. Gary looks like he wants to come and say something very special to you. Gary looks like he wants to come and say something very special to you. Let's do another Dion Hemmings. I can't say what event did she win gold in. All right, so her 200-meter PB. That's what you think? Was
sport, unlike most most Jamaicans at the time at an Olympics, you heard about Merlin, etc., and you had a disappointment and you would not relinquish the lead. And as a Jamaican, like Jesus Christ, this is going to happen. And when you crossed the line in first, it was just, I think I'd lost my voice. But I'll say this to you, one of the most important national.
All right, he's here. All right, hold on, Dion and Gary.
One more.
There's another. So, Dion, it's yours, and you take them back. On the podium. Let's go. You step up on the podium, Mr. Kitson. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this presentation, this was actually prepared by Mr. Kitson himself. Dion? Okay, so hold on now. Gary's going to put on his glasses, and we need a citation. It turned around so Gary can read the citation to Dion.
In an Olympic record time of 52 medal in our pet event and another as part of the 4x400 relay team. This major time from competition in 2003. Contribution to sport, she was conferred the order of distinction in the rank of commander of CD. After
we're going to take some pictures. There, you can step down, Gary, but the picture. She has a speech ready. She has a speech ready. Trudy, we're good? Photographers, thank you very much. Now, the 200 meters women's final was also going to be that same day. I don't know if that, you don't have to remember that. You just have to run and win. And of course, David, people like me figured Merlin was going to win gold. She didn't, but I thought what interesting trivia it would be. This is young me in 1996. But so when you won, I said to Pascal, all right, I'm going to win this prize. Because one day, nobody else is going to remember that it was you. But then Merlin didn't do it. So it's without doubt.
Maybe we would have been so nervous and maybe didn't win. I am truly grateful to be here. I will begin by saying, thank you, Michael Grant and Hubert Lawrence, for immortalizing us athletes. He and his staff continue to do an outstanding job training our coaches and PE teachers to go out into our schools in order to hone the talents of our athletes. Look at sports today. Look at our boys and girls championships. Before I go, let me take this opportunity to thank the sponsor, Anybet, for always do your best and maybe, just maybe, you will achieve the ultimate reward in your chosen field of endeavor. If you dream it, you can achieve.
So as not to get tempted, the answers are given kind of here. The answers are given kind of here. This is where you get. But Anybet people can win? Dion kind of knows where she went to school. Really, this is it? Dion Hemmings went to school at Veer Technical High School, right? Not yet, please pause. I'm going to speculate, and I think as MC I have the right to speculate, and I'm speculating about your grandfather. If in 1908 he went to London and tried to run at the Olympics and wasn't allowed to, reasonably so. Jamaica didn't have an Olympic committee. Something. So if you want to come and just help me get rid of this, come and tell me right here what happened 2 years after 1908 when all right. Michael, I'm going to ask you to introduce what we're about to see. And again, a big highlight. Have you had the pleasure of seeing it yet? Or this is, wow, okay. So it's going to be special. Please welcome again, Michael Grant.
Something that hasn't happened too much in Jamaican cultural history, where we take the life of an athlete, somebody who was important, but maybe a little bit forgotten, maybe a little bit obscure, bring him back to life so that he can inspire future generations. People are now hailing me as a filmmaker. I noticed there was a piece in a British newspaper today. And I'm a filmmaker only because I'm an advertising guy by training. And so all the commercials and other stuff that I've done and haven't been punished for, this is something I'm extremely proud of because it tells a story that should have been told before. Dan Shaw did some work, important work that I pulled from, as well as Arnold Bertram. And I'm super happy that my niece, Alana Nelson, who couldn't be here with us because she's studying on a Fulbright in the US, worked on. My sister, Vinette Grant, is here and government service. To travel to England by himself at his own expense to try and get into the Olympics. Nobody told him that there was a spot waiting on him in the Olympics. He just figured because he was so fast, he had the fastest time in the Caribbean. It was how Jamaicans run fast, even though that's in there, or how we can win things. It's about the idea of how Jamaicans can do things in situations where it looks like it can't happen. GC Foster won the National Sprint Championship 4 years straight, right? The British champion won the British Olympic champion 1908. It turns out that after the Olympics, GC and Reggie Walker were in 5 different 100-yard races, but never went on the line at the same time. Because in those days, you line at the same time. So if you're watching it like a spy movie, it would be like 2 of them are stunning faster. The search.
Less than a year ago, a massive earthquake damaged every building in Kingston, killing more than 1,000 people. The disaster is still fresh in Gerald Paul's mind while he tries to focus on his work as a post office bookkeeper. The city is in shambles, with piles of rubble everywhere. Foster's family had to live in a tent downtown. Some relatives are staying upstairs in his damaged home on Parker Street.
One of the most remarkable figures in Jamaican track history is someone that most track fans know very little about. An enigma, a mystery, back in the midst of time. Gerald Foster. And many would only remember him as a coach, and maybe because there's GC Foster College that now trains the coaches. They do a 2+2, so that guy must have been a coach without knowing too much about the personality and the history behind the name.
GC Foster and his younger brother Arthur are young city track stars without a city to strut in. Jamaica to study dentistry. GC is a tennis player, a good all-round cricketer, and a 100-220-yard man, the one who's never been beaten in a championship foot race. Still only 21, he's won the 100 yards national title 4 years in a row. Now, like AJ, GC Foster also has a plan.
We're maturing into adulthood, decides to try to get to the Olympic Games.
Foster has written to England's most famous athletics coach, Harry can get himself to Britain. In a few months, London will host the Summer Games and Gerald Claude Foster's a Jamaican, West Indian or British athlete. But he plans to be a part of the Olympics, one way or another. Andrews gives the adventurous Foster encouragement, and so the young man books his passage. GC has read every book, pamphlet, and news article he can find about athletics, especially sprinting. He knows all the names of the world's fastest guns, the ones who will gather in England to do battle in the summer. Men like Duffy, Pankhurst, Kelly, Cartmel, Walker, Morton, Kerr, and Rector.
So he reads a lot, and he's in love with sport, but in love with track and field because he swam the Kingston Harbour, he did cycling, he did sprinting, and from age 14 he had an interest. Yeah, it's the ethic of the time. Again, 21st century, most young boys are specialists who do one sport, maybe two, except I guess Woolman's, which was GC Foster School, where even though they do multiple sports, the footballer is a trackman, is a cricketer, and he comes out of that ethic and comes to note, even taking challenges, what they call handicaps, raising people to give him a job. Right. Out of that comes this high-speed Jamaican sprinter, little, 5'7", 135 pounds, light. He says, you know what, I can't get those stamps. I could run with the best in the world, and then put his money on the table to his own money, because I think that was also important. The fact that he didn't have a national federation, back then it was Jamaica Athletic and Cycling Association, I think it was. So no one paid for him to go. It's not a plane ride, it's what we call a banana boat. And he's paid. This young man says, hey, I want to get to the Olympic Games. I don't have anyone to sponsor me. Just left school working at the post, I think the Jamaica Post, Postal Service. Took 3 months off, boarded the ship on a hope. What strikes me is ambition. This runs right through the Jamaican psyche, that you could come from Jamaica, but you could go somewhere, stake your claim to greatness, to make life, as Jamaicans often said, going to the States, going to England in times, right through the history of the country. And he does that in sport, without all of the infrastructure.
He arrives in Bristol on May 21st, 1908, and heads for London. 1908, Franco-British, and when the average Londoner is just becoming aware of Jamaican people and their culture. The Jamaican Native choirs there on tour, bringing traditional Jamaican songs with them. Foster's there too, introduced to them Jamaican speed. The name G.C. Foster is one of the best known in Jamaican athletics, but in spite of the research done on his life, he is mostly remembered as a master coach. There's even a sports college named after him.
What I know about G.C. Foster as an athlete is that he excelled in sports at the Women's Boys School. He was also an exceptional athlete in sprinting, lawn tennis, and cricket. In his later life, he was focused on cricket.
The detail about Foster as a sprinter was mostly missing, and there was no easily available image showing the man any younger than 40 years old.
So he gets there, Hubert, and the court says we're going to try and get him. But in none of the research done, we can see why he was not allowed to run. Yeah? And I think that is possible where you don't want to get into racism or whatever, but the fact is, this young man, based on the research, could have been allowed to run because Jamaica is a colonial state. And because when he goes there, in the races he runs, there's a period of time where he's getting acclimatized to British weather. But once that period is done, he's running right with or ahead of the very best of the era. And so, athletically, this is just races across the track. This isn't politics or any other outside factors, races across the track. He was good enough to be in the finals, had he been selected to a team. And even though at the time, it was winner alone advancing from the heat, he was a Avianta, but he was still able to run against the best that they had and beat them, albeit after the Olympic Games, because they had a mentor but didn't make him run in the trials. It's impressive.
it's because he arrived before Jamaica as its own Olympic association, late in the 1930s. But he showed everybody, the world, himself and Jamaica, that I think different. He could have been one of those guys up there. Yes, and in all the readings, the articles that were written from Ireland to England, you're talking about a Jamaican who came, had a dream, the dream was taken away, no fault of his own, but then those who got to realize their dream at the Olympic Games, he's beating them.
To most, he was an enigma who made a great contribution to the nation. But all this
young Foster swims across the Kingston Harbour, listed as among the wildest harbours. At age 14, he raced against the fastest person in the country. Got with a drum and beat it, right? So it says to me that, nowadays, contemporary times, last year for the Olympic Games, Answer Parchment was injured for most of the time leading up the trials. He was walking onto the pool, keeping himself active, without putting strain on the muscles, and took his time to build up. So if G.C. Foster was doing all that from that time, he was ahead of his time in training. The reading says he read a lot. So clearly he was reading up on athletics, techniques, training, exactly, prevention. But it says to you that this young man, at the time, was destined to be a great sportsman. Everything to work with it. But yes, here's what I want to ask you, and it's a good thing that we come to this juncture. We know, because his name is on the sign at Angels, a connection between him and modern Jamaican culture. What does his career mean in that broad context when you think of what has happened down the line on the men's side in sprinting, on the women's side in sprinting, in terms of systems? Because here he is, as a youngster, voracious for information about training and nutrition and preparation. This is in 1910, 1911, 1912. What does that mean? How do we connect the dots between G.C. Foster, the athlete, and modern Jamaican track and field? So in the first, G.C. Foster as a sprinter. Sure, the literature before this book, limited. Alright?
I know about G.C. Foster as an athlete, that he was a very quick athlete. He also traveled overseas by himself. He won a lot of races.
In the early 1908, he was a sprinter, where he would have participated in the 100-yard dash and 200.
And others mentioned G.C. Foster as the godfather of Jamaican athletics. But where was the physical evidence of that sprinter? It was time to track the man down. The mission: find young Foster. The hunt went in 4 major directions. First, back to his family archives and Diane Shaw's biography, hoping that more clues on his earlier life would turn up. Second, into the historical, to some paths not followed. Third, at Jamaica's institutional repositories, the Gleaner, the National Library, the Jamaica Archives, and the Institute of Jamaica. And fourth, on a quest with British sports archives in the UK. Maybe they had pictures or programs or letters, anything. The British are legendary for record keeping, but we may never know exactly why Foster was really excluded from competition, having been officially considered for British trials. Some of these places still kept photo albums with the subjects' names written on the page, but not entered anywhere else, except for news reports. There was nothing. The search was dying. Late in GC's UK adventure, the headline sprinters scheduled for the next day, featuring the Olympic champion Reggie Walker, as well as several of the Mercuries he had repeatedly raced in England and Ireland. The reason he wasn't mentioned again in these results wasn't because of injury. At the time of the Easter meet, the day that the advertisement ran, G.C. Foster's vacation was over. He had gone back to Bristol to board the Port Henderson for his voyage back to Jamaica. He was gone. Everything was headed in one direction. A clash with Olympic champion Reggie Walker of South Africa. But it never happened.
100-yard race on 5 different occasions. Sadly, they never get placed in the same heat, so we'll never know what could have happened.
It should have been easy to find a picture of GC from 1908, but after searching hundreds of pages of the Gleaner, the research could find no. Michael Grant had a brainwave.
1 year after GC Foster returned from England, he was made the coach, team captain, and the only sprinter.
Trinidad, the Port of Spain Gazette, the Sporting Opinion, and the Mirror gave detailed accounts of four Jamaicans' exploits in winning a cycle and track meet from May 29 to 31. They were representing the Jamaica Athletics and Cycling Association in an intra-territory meeting at Sinclair Oval, Trinidad. Prizes included the Fry's 100 Guinea Gold Challenge Cup, among others. There he was, triumphant on his return to Kingston.
Who was at the foundation. I put it this way, he's not only at the foundation, but he runs through it, because in 1907, he runs 9.7 seconds, a tenth of the world record at the time. And then he goes back to England 3 or 4 years, imparting that knowledge and stripped away from sport when they retire. They've had it with getting up early in the morning. They've had it with back-to-way practices. They don't want to handle temperamental athletes because they know what that it can be like. But he stays in the sport for the rest of his life, sharing, teaching, and building the sport.
Foster, the famous young version of himself before he was a coach, had been found. But there was still a problem. The search and his life story were companion projects to the publication of 50 Days of Fire, the story of Jamaica's 50 greatest performances on the track. And there was a preliminary guarantee given by the publishers that the book would not be done unless it included pictures of Foster in competition on the track in 1908.
Now, does that disappointment fuel his return to Jamaica as a coach to lay the foundation to what we enjoy today? It does, and I don't want this to be lost, because so for the 3 months after the 1908 Olympics, he's racing sometimes 2 times a week on tracks that are inferior to what he was racing on in Jamaica before the earthquake a year earlier, and beating them. At that context, you don't advance to the final unless you win your heat. You know? So it's not, okay, I can get to the second fastest and then still win. No. So every single race must be won. And he had a lot of firsts, a lot of seconds, a lot of third place finishes. That for me sets him up as a consummate Jamaican who I can't fail, and even if I fail, I'm going to get back. So the fact that he came back home, and while he gave up the sport, played some first-class cricket, right? He still said, I'm not going to waste his knowledge. He didn't write a book, but he went and he said, okay, this is how I'm going to impart what I've learned. So, and I think that standing on G.C. Foster's shoulder, given the context that we have now, the Burton and Camerons, the Herb McKinleys, the Arthur Wins, the Boats of our time, the Patties, all stand on his shoulders. And the athletes to come, we're discussing Kevona Davis doing well on the NCs now. Talking about the Kemba Nelsons, and those are in the next line that will come. They will stand on G.C. Foster's shoulders. Let's draw the line though. G.C. Foster College, Michael Clark, Michael Dyke, Danny Hawthorne, Neil Harrison, all these are the products of the G.C. Foster College, which is created into a reliable practice by science, nutrition, technique, psychology, periodization, to turn what he was teaching at the schools he coached at into reliable science. So that you stop out all of the places where I'm looking at Shanti front of this page, alright, I'm seeing Herb, I'm seeing Merlin, I'm seeing BQ, I'm seeing Bolt, I'm seeing Elaine Walker, DCB, Yohan Blake. All of champs, all the coaches you mentioned just now, had a hand from GC all the way up in maybe 90% of the athletes on this.
In the National Athletics Archive, housed at the University of Birmingham's Cadbury Research Library in Edgbaston.
The foundation was set way before our time. And
104 to 2016. Then documents relating to individual athletics clubs and associations, 1879 to 2012. Within 4. The club name was familiar because Foster had finished third and second respectively over the 100 and 120 yards at the Salford Athletics Festival on July 18, 1908. The last item, noticeable for its informality, was a file of loose items referred to as a number of postcards and photographs, some captioned. Athletes pictured included F.L. Ramsdale, W.R. Applegarth, H.J. Pankhurst, R.E. Collin, and R.E. Reggie Walker of South Africa meters. About 30 names were listed. Many of them were men Foster had challenged and beaten. In the middle of the listing was the name, G.C. Foster, the young Jamaican sprinter. Finally free after 100